Why do we keep doing the things that don't actually benefit us? Hey, I'm Penny, and in this video, I'm diving into Curious Habits by Luke Mathers, a book about why we do the things we do and how to change. A curious habit is anything you feel, think, or do where your default is no longer helping you. Perhaps you've picked up a certain habit to help you cope with work life. You might come home from work, watch a crap reality show for 2 hours, and then go, why did I do that when I could have done something that I actually enjoyed? In the book, Luke asks us, have you ever stopped to think about how much of your day is just autopilot? Studies say that 40 to 70% of what we do is habitual. As someone who thrives on routine, I would say I'm definitely more towards the 70% mark. Most things like going on a walk, reading, or doing work is completely out of habit for me. I do it because I'm used to doing it. In the book, Luke talks about a habit loop. It goes from cue to action to reward. So your cue might be feeling tired and exhausted after work. You need a dopamine boost. Your action is to then open your phone and hop on Instagram. Your reward is getting that dopamine hit when you see you have 3 DMs and new posts from the people that you follow. So you start to do it every time you finish work. But once a habit is set, the reward can disappear and you'll still do it anyway. Once you've been on Instagram for about 3 minutes, the reward is no longer there. You're no longer getting new DMs. There's no dopamine boost to your brain, but you're still on there, scrolling through reels. There's no more excitement, but you still do it because your brain preemptively expects the dopamine boost each time you open Instagram. So now there's no reward, but you're still doing the same action. Same with smoking, biting nails, or procrastinating. These all once had a reward. Smoking for relaxation, biting nails to help with anxiety, but now they no longer do. We're just stuck in the loop. Fun fact, I bit my nails for 9 years before I managed to stop, purely out of habit, and I still do it sometimes when I get anxious, even though it doesn't help me calm down at all. So Luke's next point is that habits actually save time and energy. Why? Because your brain is wired to save energy. Even though your brain only weighs about 2% of your body, it uses up 20% of your energy. Habits are your brain's way of running efficiently. It's like a low power mode. By having habits, we minimize that energy loss. That's why you can drive home and barely remember the journey there, or brushing your teeth while thinking about something completely different. It's your brain going, I've done this before, no need to think about it. But here's the good news. Just like you created your old habits to help survive, you can now create new habits that work better for you. But how? Luke tells us that the first step is to get curious about why you do what you do. Ask yourself, what am I actually getting out of doing this? Because every habit, even the ones we don't like, exists for a reason. Maybe it's comfort. You scroll on your phone at night to wind down. Maybe it's distraction or even boredom. It's not about shaming yourself. It's about observing why you're doing this thing. When you can name the cue, whether it's stress or boredom, for me it's usually boredom, you create a moment of awareness. And in that moment, you get to choose what happens next instead of just reacting. Once you understand why you do what you do, it's time to break your default habit loop and create a new one. Most of your habits are driven by convenience. If junk food is the easiest and quickest option, then you'll eat it. If your phone is constantly in your pocket, then when you're bored, that's going to be what you pull out. If Netflix autoplays the next episode, then you'll keep watching. You might be starting to realize right now that most of the apps and technology devices you used are designed to be convenient so that you will stay on them. So what can you do? Well, you can change your environment. Change simple things, like maybe on your route home from work, there's always a McDonald's drive-thru that you stop by. Try going a different way instead. This little tweak might be able to snap you out of your default loop. If you want to stop snacking late at night, then don't keep the snacks that you're going to go straight for in the pantry. This way you're not relying on your willpower, because willpower is actually a limited resource. When you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, it's actually a lot harder to have willpower. It's not just your fault. Your brain is going to default to the easier option, so make the option that you want to happen easier. So once you've identified your cues and changed your environment, it's time to figure out how to actually build new and better habits. So there's a couple of different methods that Luke talks about in the book. The first is habit stacking, which I'm sure you've heard of if you've read Atomic Habits. Basically, you just want to attach a new habit to one that you already have. So after you finish lunch, you want to go for a 5-minute walk. And every time you finish lunch, you're going to go for that 5-minute walk. That way your brain starts associating lunch with going on a walk. Maybe after you scroll on your phone, you have to stop and do meditation for 60 seconds. Basically, attach a habit that you already have to a new habit. Another method is to make it as easy as possible to do the new habit. We often try to start too big and your new habit will fail inevitably if you do that. Basically, you should make your habit seem so small that it seems silly not to do it. Tell yourself to read just one page, only one page, and then you'll stop. And if you stop after that, that's totally fine. You're just gonna read one page every day. That's gonna take what, 2 minutes max? Want to meditate? Try doing it for 60 seconds. Or maybe do one yoga pose every day if you want to start stretching. Your goal isn't to be perfect, it's to do it consistently. And then slowly you're going to start building the habit and you're going to be able to do longer sessions. Next up, and this is one that I really like to do, and it's to celebrate your wins. As someone who has been really bad at celebrating my wins my whole life, like when I got a play button, I was just like, oh cool, that's really good. And then I didn't I didn't go and get myself a donut or cake or something to celebrate. I was just like, oh yeah. Anyway, I wish that I had celebrated some of my wins over the years. And you should celebrate the really small wins. If you want to make your habits stick, then you need to make them feel good. So maybe after you do only 60 seconds of meditation, you can high five yourself. You can check the box off a to-do list. This is because dopamine reinforces behavior. Be proud of yourself and attach a positive emotion to the habit. That way your brain is likely to repeat it. The final one that is definitely another one of my favorites from this book is the 15-second rule. The 15-second rule is super simple. If you can resist doing something for 15 seconds, then the urge will usually fade. So the example that Luke put in the book is that there was a guy who always bought chocolate when he went to the petrol station, or the gas station for Americans. So instead of trying to have willpower all the way to the gas station and all the way home to not turn around, he'd just say, once I get in the gas station, I'm not going to buy chocolate. So for the 15 seconds that he was in the gas station paying for his gas, he would just make sure to have willpower for that short amount of time, and that was able to stop him from buying the chocolate that he was going to buy. Honestly, I think this is a great trick. It really works on me, but obviously you should try out all of these. I think they're all really great points. Overall, there's so much more information in this book, so please go check it out if you are curious about your habits, which you should be, because that is the main point of this book. Get curious about your habits and then you'll be able to change them. Why do we do the things that we do? A big thank you to Luke Mathers for making this book because it is brilliant and I loved reading it so much. It was actually just a really interesting read overall. And there's tons and tons more information in here that I didn't have the time to go over in this video. Good luck on your productivity journey and I'll see you in the next video.